does seem to have been going on for months and months and months without reaching a conclusion. All we need is a small bit of fence around the playground with an entrance. Surely that's not beyond the capabilities of the council.
Can I answer that? So I said exactly the same thing, because we had another correspondence, and I was like, I'm sure that we've spoken about this a number of months ago, and then it went quiet. And why did it go quiet? And but it dawned on me today, so I didn't have a chance to look back at the previous minutes. So I spoke to Ellen, and she said, actually, I think we discussed the fact that we can't fence in on the green. So I've got some documentation here about town and village greens and law, and what we can and can't do. And I've not read it in any depth, because I said it's only come to light again, and it is really, really important that we deal with it. I completely agree with you. But because of certain acts that are current, we can't actually fence off the play area, which is a shame, because that would obviously stop the geese from coming up. And what we also could do is we could create a fence using the posts, so it's like it's part of the play area. So if we got some round posts and put them close enough together that it won't, if the geese really wanted to squeeze in there, they probably could, but it might mean that they're not so likely to go into that area, and that would then become part of the play area. It wouldn't be an eyesore, because it wouldn't be fenced off, and that might be an alternative for something we can do. Because I've got niece and nephew. I completely agree with you.
It just seems crazy to spend all that money out on the refurb of the playground.
And why have that beautiful green if people can't use it? I completely agree with you. So we have to look at what we can do so people can enjoy the green.
Mary?
Yeah, I think you need to fence it off, and I did suggest ages ago about having something that's part. I mean, it seems the obvious solution.
It does.
The other thing I would just like to mention about our beloved chairman is that he's very opinately with his shovel clearing the paths of Goose poo, and so we must all come to do that.
Thank you for doing that. Great.
Would it not be possible to, well, if you're not allowed to fence off the play area, perhaps it wouldn't be possible, but I was just thinking, could it not exclude the geese from the football green as well?
We would have to look at how we would do that, because it says quite clearly that, I'll read you the... Can we fence the green off? Right, so it says no, full stop. This is called encroachment. The 1876 Act specifically refers to enclosure of a green or part of it as unlawful. But it does say that in the past you may have heard of people applying to the Secretary of State, DEFRA, for permission to put up fencing on greens or commons. This was under S194 of the Law of Property Act 1925 and applies to greens in existence since 1926. This, however, has been superseded by the Commons Act 2006 and no longer applies.
But would this not come under...
But that wouldn't be classed as a fence. If we did the post thing, that might not... But we would have to look at legality and what we could and couldn't do.
But doesn't the village green... Is it a village green registered as a common or whatever the terminology is? Because it actually belongs to the landlord, doesn't it?
Yeah, this has a bit on here about landlords and what the landlords can and can't do as well. And they basically can't stop us using for the green. Is what it says in short here, from what I've briefly read.
Have you considered putting a hedge around it? That's not a fence.
I think we haven't considered anything. What I do remember, sorry to it out, but what I do remember is people complaining about dog poo, people complaining about goose poo, and generally speaking, we've, I think, had other things to do. Now I think we have to seriously do something, whatever that may be. Because I think enough people are dissatisfied. We have to find a solution, and I think is a bit of a minefield from what I can see here because of what you're allowed to do. And reading back through the papers for the lease, and actually what, Roger, you most likely know all this, when we were trying to, or the council was trying to put new play equipment, the number of bloody letters that were written about, and actually all you were trying to do was replace some squeaky old roundabout with a new one. So it's not an easy job to get this, but I think we've got to decide, and I would propose that we have a small group of people who look seriously and take into account the wishes of people who have been here tonight and other communications that we've had, and come up with a couple of proposals.
I think if possible we need to look at it before the next meeting.
Yeah, we have to do it quickly because I think people are getting
Fed
fed up
up,
now.
yeah.
And there's only lip service.
Could I just say,
And another summary.
what is the objection, because I've mentioned this before, to having several people in the village, especially those who are fed up about the poo, which is nearly everybody, just going along 2 or 3 times a day, shooing the geese off the area that they don't want them to be there. Now, what is the problem with that?
I don't know.
No.
But I know you've asked, but it's never happened.
No, because people said it's not a very good idea.
Well, I've moved them on a few times.
What?
I've moved them on a few
Yeah,
times.
people do. Yeah, if you did it 3 or 4 times a day, you wouldn't get much poo anyway, and they'd maybe learn to keep away.
Sorry, Andy, I'm interrupted.
Well, the old flock never went down there much at all, did it? The old flock.
No.
Well, we had
And this was
23 geese at one time,
Yes.
and they made a hell of a mess.
Wow.
You know, and this to me doesn't seem like anything compared to that 23.
I have to say, a lot of people don't mind. Yeah, sorry.
Well, it is only recycled grass, let's face it.
I mean, we did start to look at managing the on-side of the green for the geese. And it's noticeable that when the grass is cut, I mean, when the grass was cut, and it was cut all around the play area, and it wasn't cut in the play area, and where the geese go, they went in the bit that wasn't cut. And I think that we haven't tried, really, to see whether we can encourage them to manage it on the other side, so that they actually graze over there, and that is their preferred side. During the winter, when Roger was feeding them over there, they hardly came over to them. They hardly came over to the field at all. And I think that we, you know, I dread the idea of having fences and things on there, to be honest. I mean, it's a management problem from the grass and everything else. It's going to cost us more from that. We're going to have to maintain it. It's going to be quite a bit ongoing cost. I agree that we don't want the food there, but why don't we look at, you know, they're intelligent birds too. That if they know where their home is, and they know that when they come over this side, we do shoot them off, and everybody's entitled to shoot them off over there. Maybe we can do it.
Yeah, I guess before they hang around John's farm because that's where he used to be. So they didn't stray too far that often.
Yeah.
They did stray occasionally, but most of the time they're staying in the green.
They do it, particularly in the spring.
This new lot obviously just wander about all over the place.
Well, what's your suggestion regarding the mowing then?
I think we might too short on that side.
On which side?
On the side of the on
Where
the
their
pond side,
house is.
on the pond side.
Yeah, they went along the
I thought it was the other way round.
Yeah,
I thought they liked the short stuff.
they do.
Like
They're supposed to have short grass.
Depends what you mean by short.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're supposed to
It's
have short
when
grass.
it's cut round down to that, yes, they do quite like it. I mean, but when Paul cuts it, the trouble is he can't adjust his height very easily. So it would probably mean him using his other mower on there just to cut it at a higher height and just. You know.
You did that around the goose box and it didn't work.
It did work, sadly, because they actually graze there, and later in the year they graze there a lot, and they graze it out.
I agree they were there, but
they
just wander.
You know, it's
I
just
don't think you can stop them.
I mean, if we can do something which, let's say, causes them not to want to go somewhere else, I think this is obviously the best solution, if we can do it. I have to say I feel somewhat sceptical that we would be able to achieve it, but it would be the best and the most elegant solution if we could do it.
I think it's worth a try. That's what I'm saying. Worth a try.
Worth a try.
Can I just say also that originally when we did refurb the play equipment, the idea was that
leaving it open like that meant we felt much more inviting for people to go and use, and that was part and parcel of the whole scheme, that it was open to folks.
Yeah, so if you fence it, then what do? You still get
But
goose
it's
play
like a
outside.
stockade or something.
Yeah, so then you've got to make a
that's
causeway
why
to get to it.
that's
That's
why
the
it's
end.
like
Fence that up, so it's going to take everything.
Well, the bottom line is we're never going to come to I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion very quickly. But we've got to do something because we can't just let it go on and on, because this is, you know, there's enough people and enough momentum behind. We've got to change something. So I think, first of all, I would like to see us try what Andy's suggesting. I think this is a no risk approach. How can we get that suggestion over to who's the guy? Mows the grass.
Paul. Discuss it with him.
He'll be here shortly because he's going to do another cut.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
Do you know him, Andy?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and we've discussed it a few times, and he did. You know, it's a question of how we can manage it best. Really,
With the kit he's got.
yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to get myself a job, but I'm just buying a new mower, which probably will do it.
So resolution is there. Andy to the rescue. Would you mind having a chat with him?
I'll check.
And how long do we try that for? Because we can't
I think we've
just
got to
keep,
go in parallel. I think we can't just
you know, how long is a
wait
piece of
for
string?
3 or 4 months and see if it works, and then decide
It's winter
that we've got to
again.
have a plan B.
Exactly. Well, we need to say we're going to try it for X amount of time, and then we should evaluate it, because otherwise we'll have, you know, it will keep ploughing on.
I think you should try it till winter.
It's going to take some time for it to take effect anyway, isn't it?
I think that's something we need to discuss.
And if we haven't done something by the time it gets next winter, then yeah, we need an alternative.